Hi there, I'm Stacy, the Encaustic mixed media artist behind Studio Stacy. Encaustic literally means to burn in. So I paint with beeswax and a torch, and because it's mixed media, pretty much anything else I can get my hands on. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Consider subscribing and joining this artsy community. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, which helps me get introduced to more like-minded artsy folks like yourself. Hi all, it is a beautiful winter wonderland out there today. Made it into the studio and I thought it would be fun, since the last video was kind of a week in the life. I thought I would kind of scope it down a bit and do a day in the life video for you today. So you probably saw some snippets of the morning. Basically what I'm trying to do in the mornings is I'm trying to stay off any electronic devices, computer, phone, all of that stuff, first thing in the morning, and do some reading. I really want to make 2024 the year of reading, where I read more books. Last year I hardly read any books, and I really like reading. So doing that in the morning. We had some nice warm oatmeal because it is a little chilly out. Perfect winter warm-up breakfast type of thing. And then I did start a fire over in the pole barn, which I threw a couple logs on before I came over here, in the hopes that that will still be going when I go back over there. Anyways, made it into the studio, and so it's kind of mid-morning-ish, almost afternoon-ish. So I'm going to work for a couple hours in here, I think, and then head back over to the pole barn this afternoon. And that's kind of what I'm hoping my schedule to be like kind of going forward, where I kind of have like a chill, relaxing morning for just a half hour, not very long. I get on the computer, go through emails, all of that stuff, and then head to the studio for a few hours, and then back over there in time to have a little bit of some knitting time, hopefully this afternoon, and then make dinner. So I'm hoping that's kind of what my schedule is going to be like going forward the next several work days, next several work weeks, but you know, who knows. Anyways, stop blabbering about my schedule and let me show you what my plans are over here today. And I don't know if you can see, but my skylights are completely covered with snow in here, which is kind of cool looking. I thought I would show you these. These are some sketches of the white pine tree that I did just on some scrap pieces of paper, kind of. And I think my plan is to tape them into a journal slash sketchbook. And if you've been with me for a little while, you know I've done the series of the West Virginia tree series. So I have a drawer full of folders and more sketches and things like that. So I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to combine all of this stuff into one sketchbook slash notebook. The jelly plate prints of the leaves and stuff, I'm not going to glue down on these pages. Those I'm saving to probably embed into the eventual artwork that I'm going to create with these. But I'm not sure what to do with all these little sketches and where to kind of keep all my notes and things like that. I'd like to have one central place. So let me flip the camera around and I'll kind of show you my options. I'm trying to decide between basically 4 different kind of notebooks slash sketchbooks. And I should say I'm also trying to use what I have on hand and not go out and buy another notebook, sketchbook, because I have plenty here. I just need to use them. And I should also say, I want to be able to take notes in this, like jot down different notes, different kind of characteristics of the tree that I definitely want to try to capture in sketches and in the art. And because I don't write very straight without lines, I'm trying to find something that has some sort of lines with the notebook. So yeah, let me flip the camera around and show you my options here. All right, option number one is just a inexpensive composition book. Obviously has lined paper in it, and this one is pretty blank, so this one I could definitely easily use. And then the thought would then be to just tape these in to the notebook, the different trees, the different sketches of the trees, I should say, into the notebook, and then have space to, you know, jot down different notes. So that's option number one. I'm not completely sold on this one. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel right to me, I guess. I don't know. It seems strange to say, but it doesn't feel right. Option number two is, this is a cover that I made, and inside of it there are these are from the Travelers notebook series. Let me see if I can, there it is, from this particular series. And they're a really cool company. They have different, you know, sleeves and slip-ins and things like that. And then this is grid paper on this. I think you can see that. Yeah, there you go. And then I also have, so I could easily jot down notes on that grid paper because it's lined. And then it also has a blank sketchbook pages. The only thing I'm not sure about on this is the size. Oh, and the other nice thing is, because let me see if I can, there it is, the middle of it, I can easily slide these in and out, so they don't have to stay in the book if I want to be able to just draw on these sketchbook pages. The only thing is the size of the pages. Like they're fairly small, so I'm not convinced on this. I think it would be great, except I would like them to be bigger. And I don't know if they make a bigger one, but I don't want to go out and purchase something. So this could be an option, but not sold on it. All right, option number three is another journal that I made. This one I used an old book cover, collaged on it, things like that. Now this one I do have various different things in it already, and I think I've showed you guys these before, but this is older, so I've used it for various different projects and things, but it's still fairly empty. The other downside to this is that it's just blank pages. Now, I could always glue in some lined paper, or do like a flip out here with just some washi tape and do a flip out. So I think this is a good option, and these pages are a nice size to sketch on and or glue the sketches or tape the sketches into this book. So I'm leaning towards this one. And then this is option number 4, which is a Lectrum 1917. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I think it's called Lectrum. Anyways, 1917. And this one is nice because it has dots on the pages. Again, I think you can see that. So you can draw, you know, lines or use the dots as a line. But again, this one I have used for various different things. It's been kind of all over the board as far as projects go. Now I do have somewhere on here, right here, the list of trees that I did for the 25 days of West Virginia trees. So I do have that in here. And then I think I use this. Yeah, I use this to name the latest painting series as well. So it's not completely empty, but I don't think it has to be necessarily either. I think there's still plenty of pages back here that are left blank. And just to flip to an open page, it's not a bad size for taping in sketches. Now, I probably wouldn't sketch directly on this paper because it's really thin. But yeah, I'm leaning towards this or this one. I can't decide. I need to decide. I'll decide. All right, I think I've decided. I'm going to combine this Electrum 1917 with drawing paper. And I just so happen to have this drawing pad that has, you know, random bits and bobs in it that I've, you know, used to draw on. But I can tear out these other pages and fold them and they'll fit perfectly taped into this. So I'll show you here what I'm thinking. Alright, so my card got full, so I don't know how much that was recorded, but basically I'm just taking washi tape. I have a bunch on hand and taping in a fold out of the drawing paper onto, or into rather, this notebook. And I think it's going to work out really well. And then what I can do is tape the sketches onto the drawing paper and still have plenty of space to jot down notes. Or if I wanted to, you know, tape any of these tinier sketches down here, I can do that and have room to write up top. I think this is going to work out nicely. The other thing I wanted to mention about these notebooks is a few things actually, kind of the organization of them. So they have these little tabby things here where you can mark pages, and there's 2 of them. So that's going to be, I think, really helpful. And then it also has up front here a contents where you just write in. So on page 70 was the list of trees. So on this first page, which I think is 79, yeah. So I can write on that table of contents page, if I can move you over here, 78, and put the next list of trees, maybe finished trees, I'm not exactly sure. But then page 79, I can write the white pine tree down. And that way, when I come back into this, I know what, you know, where the white pine tree was. Or if I start an oak tree next, I can put the, you know, red oak tree down or whatever I want to use here. Then the last thing I wanted to mention about these notebooks is they have a little pocket in the back to put, you know, various different things in. So I was thinking what I could do is tear some more. This is just random things from that came with the notebook, but I could tear some of these, if I can get this shoved back in there, some of these drawing papers and stick them back here, and then they're always handy to have when I want to go, you know, to the next page or tape another one of these in. So kind of some more pros about this. Not a, you know, commercial for the Electrum 1917, but they're pretty useful notebooks and I really like them. And I should probably explain what my goal for this notebook is in case I didn't make it clear in the beginning. Basically, I want to take several different of these West Virginia native trees and make larger paintings out of them. And I have a little bit of an idea of how I want to go about doing that. Lots of experimenting is still needed on that. But I'm basically going to use this notebook to jot down those ideas, document the trees, kind of my feeling how the trees look, you know, like are they branches sporadic, or is it an oval shape or a round shaped tree, you know, things like that. And then maybe write in some more detailed notes from previous research I've done on these trees, and then also tape these sketches in. What I'm not going to be doing with this notebook is making any finished paintings in it. So this is kind of more of a sketchbook. It's probably not going to be used for water media because this is the drawing paper. I mean, you could put some water media on it, but it's not real thick. And the pages on this notebook are not real thick either. So it's going to be more pencil and ink sketches, things like that, and then documenting these trees. So that's my idea behind the notebook. And then as I want to perhaps experiment with water media and things like that, I can always tape in maybe some watercolor paper or various other papers with this as well. Just tape them in how I taped the drawing paper in. But I don't think I'm probably going to be using this notebook for that. Hopefully that makes a little bit of a sense. All right, and there's one last thing I want to do in the studio today, and that is mess around with these little pieces of rice papers that I've been messing around with. So what I want to do is, I'm not 100% sure, this is again to do with this new tree painting series. I'm not 100% sure what medium I'm going to want to use on these rice papers. Initially, I was just thinking a black and white kind of grayscale drawings, but now I'm rethinking that slightly. So initially I just tested some India ink on them, but now I actually want to test some other water media. I'm not going to do watercolor because that sometimes tends to run when you put it down on the encaustic, because it's, you know, water media, and the second you add more wet media to it, it will run. So I'm not going to do watercolor, but I am going to do Neocolor crayons and Inktense blocks, both of them water media, and see how they react with these papers. And then I'm also going to just try to do some fine line drawing with, where'd it go? Sorry. With the Faber-Castell Pitt pen, just to see, because I have an idea in my head about getting some fine detail with these trees, more detail than what I have done in the past, I think. And then, so yes, I'm going to see how these fine pen details will work with the paper as well. My battery's going to die, so I better stop mumbling here and switch you out. I didn't film all of these papers because, you know, not super exciting, me just scribbling on them and adding a bunch of water media to it, or a bunch of water rather. And I really tried to take the brush and kind of scrub at the papers a bit and add probably a bit more water in than what I normally would add, just to really kind of test the limits of these different papers. And I don't want to leave you hanging, but I want to let all of these dry. And because it's cold out, it is really cold in the studio. So the mini split is pumping out some heat, but yeah, we just need to figure out how to insulate this a little bit better, I think come spring. But at any rate, I'm going to let you go here in the studio. I might come back over tomorrow, even though it'll be a totally separate day, and just kind of insert in here, or maybe I'll come excuse me, back over later this afternoon to see if these are dry, and if they are, I will kind of walk you through the results. But let me flip the camera around and show you. They're all still wet, but let me just flip you around and kind of show you what I found. Oh, and I should say that all of them took the fine detail very nicely, so I don't think that should be a problem at all with any of these papers. And basically I want them to dry completely so I can see how much they wrinkle up. Oh, and then this is that really thin paper, and you can see, well, I think you can kind of see, there are the colors in there, and they are really faint. So that'll be interesting. I was actually most excited to see how this would work out, but not giving up hope on that yet. But here are the rest of them just laying out here to dry. So I'm going to leave them here and probably go maybe grab a bite for lunch. Some homemade zucchini patties and marinara is what's on the lunch agenda today. And then for the next hour or so, I'm going to just be knitting some socks, chilling out in front of the nice warm fireplace and knitting up these socks, starting to get to the heel on these. So it's kind of exciting. And watching the snow come down and just kind of a little bit of a relaxing afternoon before we have to start into dinner plans. All right, all, don't judge, but we are having pizza on paper plates tonight for dinner. I actually had planned on cooking a lovely meal tonight and kind of ending the vlog that way with you. However, we have a water problem going on that started at about 3 o'clock this morning, and it has not yet been resolved. It will probably take a few days to get resolved because we can't get anybody out here until then, which is fine. It's not the end of the world, but we need to kind of conserve water consumption so we are not using, I'm not, making a big mess in the kitchen and not washing a bunch of dishes. So at any rate, I think we're gonna dig into this pizza. Well, not I think, but I know we're gonna dig into this pizza. I might crochet a little bit on that blanket that I've been working on. That's usually how I kind of end the evenings. If I do that, I'll throw a little snippets in here or there with that. And yeah, I think that is it. But thank you so much for coming along kind of on the day in the life here. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. It really does help me out. And if you're not subscribed, consider doing so. Let's see, what else? If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, definitely leave them below down there. I'm happy to answer anything that I can, and I love when you guys comment on stuff. So yeah, anyways, talk to you soon. Thanks again. Bye for now.